Here's a look at major markets in the U.S., and we'll pay particular attention, of course, to Canada. There's a fairly steep decline in the S&P TSX Composite Index, down by very close now to a full percentage point. As we've told you, both Canadian Natural Resources and Suncor Energy are major drags on the index. They are both down by more than 2%, and they are taking about 26 points off the index so far. Brookfield Corporation, ticker symbol BN, also a influential decliner. So is Wheaton Precious Metals and Royal Bank of Canada. So it's a fairly broad-based decline in terms of stocks that are taking the index down, but there is a particular weakness in the energy stocks today. Well, yesterday, of course, Governor Tiff Macklem said that the possibility of the new administration in the United States imposing steep Canadian tariffs represented a, quote, major new uncertainty. Bennett Jones, the law firm, has recently released its 2025 economic outlook. It touches on this point and says that the incoming Trump administration will reshape economic policy and international relations. There certainly sounds like there will be big implications for Canada. Paul Beaudry is our next expert guest. He's, of course, a former deputy governor at the Bank of Canada. He's now senior economic advisor at Bennett Jones. Paul, thanks a lot for joining us. It's the perfect time to have you here for more than one reason. How do you think about the tariff threat that Donald Trump has raised and how Canada should deal with it and how things actually may play out? I mean, he did threaten and impose tariffs during his first administration.
So I think we really want to take this tariff threat very seriously, but I think it's kind of appropriate to divide it in two possibilities. The one possibility we see more likely is that actually this kind of across the board 25% will not be implemented. That doesn't mean that it doesn't create already a lot of uncertainty in Canada. So even if it doesn't get fully implemented, the idea that it already is kind of reducing investment or investment incentives in Canada is already there. That's going to slow down growth in Canada. So even if it doesn't get implemented, it's already affecting us negatively. Even if it doesn't get implemented, there might be kind of more local tariffs on certain things that do get implemented. And those are all aspects that we've been taking into account in our outlook. On the flip side, if it does get implemented, that means a really big hit to Canada. This is our major trading partner. This would be across the board, hitting many sectors. We don't think it's that likely because it also hurts the U.S. And especially this would kind of increase probably the price of some energy products, some car products, all things that President-elect Trump suggested he didn't want to see more inflation. So I think we're in a bargaining position that we should be able to kind of avoid that. But we have to do everything together, really, as a country to kind of make sure that this doesn't get imposed.
You say, on that note, you say that the response from Canada should be collaborative, yet firm, and aligned with our national interest. I'm interested in, I'm wondering how collaborative the response is thus far. We've seen, among other things, the Prime Minister of the country criticize the fact that female candidates for president have now lost 2 consecutive elections, and the Premier of Ontario appears to be musing about turning off the flow of electricity from Ontario into the northern United States. What kind? I'm assuming that's not the type of messaging you would like to see. What kind of messaging would you like to see?
Well, I'd really like to see a much more kind of, coming together. I do think, Ford is very serious. He recognizes that for Ontario, this is a big hit. But that's an idea still kind of discussing as a group and making it very forceful, because the big force is really holding it together to say for the U.S. also this trade is beneficial. This is not the type of trade that Trump is generally kind of wanting to change. If you look, a lot of things that he'd like to change is that with countries that have a kind of big surplus in manufacturing products. And our manufacturing trade with the U.S. is actually rather balanced. If anything, we kind of import more kind of goods from them on that side. Our surplus is really in energy, and they want energy and they kind of need it. So really making the case as a group would be much more helpful. Also recognizing that, we have to be strong and firm in retaliating, but at the same time, we should do it smartly, really figuring out where it could hurt more. And again, as a group, kind of getting together and kind of understanding which kind of moves would be the most helpful, because those hurt us also. So putting tariffs on the U.S. is hurtful for us. It doesn't mean we don't want to do it, for negotiation, you want to do it, but you must do it kind of in a smart way.
All of this happens as the Canadian economy, the economy is slowing. What is your take on the current state of the Canadian economy?
So the Canadian economy is slowing. If it wasn't for this whole risk of tariffs, we should be seeing things picking back up. Actually, if you looked at the last data releases and different things, we have consumers are starting to pick back up. We have the housing market starting to pick back up. So we had some good news, some momentum that's kind of going in the right direction. But this is really putting cold water on that. So these kind of reductions in interest rates will help the Canadian economy, but we have this huge new challenge that's coming across against that. So what we were thinking that there'd be kind of a good pickup for next year, now we're kind of thinking if we can stay just a bit above what we kind of grew this year, that would be already pretty good.
Productivity in Canada is one of your focuses as well. And, you know, it's been a concern among economists for a long time, the underperformance on a productivity basis of the Canadian economy versus the U.S. economy. What do Canadian policymakers need to do? What do Canadian business leaders need to do to step up our productivity game?
Well, first of all, we have to recognize we have it as a kind of global kind of problem that we'll lose behind other countries, especially the U.S. will become poorer, and that if we want to pay for our system, our kind of public needs at this moment to kind of allow all that, we need this kind of growth. So kind of having that in the discourse to see all the different policies that are kind of discussed, whether it be at provincial or at federal level, have a productivity focus to kind of see, will this help kind of the country being more innovative, to invest more, to have those aspects to kind of move forward, because without that, we're just going to be falling behind.